Thank you again for joining me this afternoon live from my garage as we walk through some Google Forms. Part 2, we're going to extend on last week's learning and the things that we discovered about Google Forms. Hopefully you have joined the classroom for this session so I can give you credit in Eduphoria, and we will also use the comments stream in order to ask questions or comments. And I want to thank Thomas Nichols for managing those comments for me today. So if you remember last week, we started with creating a Google form from scratch. We added images as answer choices, and we added images into the actual question itself. And so today, we're going to take a look at that Google form from last week, and I went and added all 11 questions to that form. And we're going to look at using what's called sections, and this will help one question to show up on the page at a time, which creates a good presentation for your Google form, especially if you're using it for a quiz or some kind of student work. We also will do some customization for your Google form where you can change the colors, and you have a few choices in the font choices, but I'll show you where those customization places are. And so that'll be it for our session today. So to start out with, if you remember from last week, we were working with this form right here, and we were copying and pasting the questions and the answer choices into this Google form. We added in images using the snipping tool and then uploading that images. And just a reminder with Google Forms, you don't copy and paste an image. You actually have to upload the image into the Google form. And last week we did 3 questions, I think, and I went ahead and added all the remaining questions that were on that Think It Up sheet. And as you can tell, even though it's just 11 questions, it's a lot of scrolling to get down to the bottom of that page where all the questions are. And sometimes, depending on the age of your student, it could be a little bit overwhelming. And I'm going to look at this. I'm going to click on the eyeball icon. And remember, that shows us a preview of what the students would see. And so again, they could type in their name, but as they scroll down, it just looks like it's a never-ending web page. It's like, where is the bottom? When is the last question on here? And so we're going to make this to where only one question will appear on each page, and it won't be so overwhelming to our students. So I'm going to close this preview out. I'm going to go back up to the top, and I've already got all my questions in. So you can either do this as you're building the Google form, or build your entire Google form out and then go back and add your sections like I am. So the first thing is I'm gonna break up this part right here, the title of the assignment and the name, and you may even have a question in there that says class period or homeroom teacher. You can add other questions in there. But I'm going to click on that question, and it kind of highlights it, and then I'm going to click on this equals sign right here. And so if you're taking notes, you may want to write that down or wrote that little symbol down. But in order to add a section, you're going to click on the equals sign button. And so what it did is it split this apart. And so I can actually name my question. This is where I can start numbering them. So I can do question 1, or I can just put a number 1. And now you may be thinking, but this says section 2, but it's question 1. And it can get a little confusing, but this is actually section 1 up here. And this is section 2. So you got to keep that in mind if you are going to number with your sections, that you will be 1 behind the actual section number. So that's going to break this apart right here. And then I'm going to go to the next question. So I've already got this one, and we'll be on this section. And now I'm going to go to the next question, click on it so it gets selected. It has this blue bar on the side. And I'm going to click on the button with the equal sign. Oh, and that didn't do it. Oh, it went it down there. Sorry. I'm going to back up. I'm going to click on this question right here, and then I'm going to add a section. What that's going to do is put the section below the question I have selected. Let's try that again. There it is. So now this question will show up here, and now I can title this question and give it a question 2. So it says section 3, and my question is 1. My question number is 1 below that. And I mistakenly already did this one, and so now I can say this is question 3. All right, so now hopefully I can get this process right this time. But now I'm going to click on the question that's right below my section, and then I'm going to click on the equal sign to add that new section. And so it broke it apart, and then this would be question 4, if I could spell. Okay, and I'm going to take a break right here and go back to the preview. And just to kind of give you an idea of what this looks like and how much more appealing it is. So click on preview. And here now this is broken up. And so the student can type in their name. And now we have a next button. And look, 1 question on the page. Way easier to deal with as a student. I also have a back button and I have a next button. But since this question is required, and that little red asterisk right there lets me know and reminds me that this question is required, I can't go to the next question until I answer this one. So there really is no way to flag a question if you think about STAR testing or online testing. It would be I just pick an answer choice and then I move on. But I can go back if I need to adjust my answer. So far, so good? All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this out, and I'm going to go back to adding the rest of my sections. Okay, so this section's here, so I need to click on the question right below the section, and then do the equal sign. And so now it breaks it apart. And this would be question 5 because it's 1 less than the section. Scroll down, click on the question that's right below the section, do the equal sign, and now it breaks it apart. And then I'm on section 7, so that's question 6. Okay, and then I just do this for each of the remaining questions. Click on the question, click on equals, it breaks it apart. This is section 8, so this will be question 7. Now you could do this while you're building the form, and so you add a question, add a section, add a question, add a section, and you just keep continuing that process until your whole Google form or your quiz is completed. And so I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to assign it to you in the classroom so you can actually take it and get an idea for yourself what it's going to look like. Oop, not 10, 9. And then 1 more. And then this would be question 10. Now, if I was in the live form right now and I got to this last question, oh, there's 11 questions, that's why. Sorry, I need to add 1 more section. Now, in the real form, once I got to this last one, then the button for submit would appear for the students. And I want you to visualize that when you get there. So another thing to make this appealing is since I have more sections, I can put in what's called a progress bar. And it will give the students an idea of kind of how much more they have left. And you can find that setting under this gear wheel icon, the settings icon button. And in the middle, you choose presentation, and there's a choice in there to show progress bar. And it's right here at the top. Now, once we have put sections, you can no longer shuffle the question order. If we had left all the questions on 1 page, then you could shuffle the question orders. But if you think about it, the kids are working from home and they don't even have a neighbor to look onto. So there's really not a point in shuffling. And I'm going to set this one up last time. If you remember, I gave the instructions to retake it, but then I locked the quiz so only you could take it 1 time. And so I'm going to show a link to submit another response because I want them to keep taking this quiz until they make 100. And so I say, if you didn't make 100, please retake. I'm going to go to my quizzes tab. It is a quiz. I'm going to release the grade immediately after it's submitted. and I'm going to show them missed questions and point values. I don't want to show them the correct answer. I want them to keep trying. So I'm going to click save. Oh, wait, I better make sure that I didn't lock it. So I'm going to go back to settings, do general. I want to collect their email address. I want it restricted. And then this is the one I messed up on last week. I'm not going to limit to one response. I'm going to let them take it as many times as they want. So I'm going to click save right there. And then I'm going to switch over to my classroom. And I'm going to go ahead and assign this. And you remember with a Google form, you don't have to make a copy for each student. A Google form is basically a link that students access. So there is no need for them to have their own copy. Okay, so this is going to be our Think It Up quiz. And I'm going to add this file. Here's our recent, and I'm going to add it. And there it is. And remember, it doesn't have the option for edit, view, or make a copy for each student because it is basically a link to a website. If we were in the school building, you could use this lock mode on Chromebooks, which may be a training for another date. But since we're not in the building, we're not going to go down that path right now. We're going to do to all students. I'm going to do a topic today and say demo. And we're going to go ahead and assign this right now. And so for you, those that are participating and watching, go ahead and into the classroom and take this quiz and see what you think. I'm going to go into my student account. And I'm going to go to the classwork. Do Think It Up, and then I'm going to open up this Google form. So right away, I notice, well, I got to put my name. And then we click next, and here's the progress bar at the bottom. Here's one question per page. The student clicks their answer and then does next. And again, one question per page. Much more appealing to the eyes trying to do one question at a time. And we're not really taking a grade for this, but I just want you to kind of fly through this quiz and just pick an answer for me. You may experiment with using the back button and go back and maybe change an answer. And notice our our progress bar at the bottom. I kind of blew a blank there. So now, and then it tells us our question number up here on the top. That's our section number. Getting closer. My progress bar is always green. There's the submit button. I'm at my last question now. And so there it is. And so when you have the students kind of take a mastery quiz where they have to keep taking it till they get 100, and if you set it up to where you release the score immediately, the view score button appears. You can click on view score, and I can see the ones I got right, and I can see the ones that I get wrong. It is all on one page, so I don't have to kind of do the next button for each question. And the student can see all the way down. And then they say, oh, I did not make 100. Sorry, I'm not trying to scroll very fast. So then the student would close this tab and open the assignment. Will it let me take it again? That's going to be the question here. Yes, it will. Oh, it won't. Okay, I need to figure out why that doesn't do that. I will work on that and put a comment into the classroom, because you should be able to take that form. Maybe it's because I've linked it into my classroom and made it an assignment, and I'll look into it. I'll get back to you with that, because we might want that option as a teacher for them to keep taking the quiz over and over again. So I want to look at some of my results. So now I'm going to go back to my teacher view, go into my assignment, and I'm going to go into the form. But now I'm going to click on the pencil that shows in the lower right-hand corner. And I have this pencil because I'm the form owner. And then I can click on the word responses, and I can see student responses. And I can go through the individuals. But if you're a spreadsheet, if you like spreadsheets, you can open up all the results on this green square and create a new spreadsheet. And then you can get a spreadsheet view of all your students. So here we got 45 made a 45, and Mr. Nichols made a 45. So we definitely would need to retake that. I'd probably have to as a teacher, I'd probably have to reassign that. But I will figure out how to do mastery type quizzes in Google Classroom. All right, I'm going to go back. I'm in my teacher view, and I wanted to point out when you're doing a quiz and you assign a point value. So I click on the question and then go to answer key and I choose my point value. You can assign different point values for each question. So for example, this one I assigned 5. This one I assigned 5 as well. This one was 5 points. But then down here, I assigned 10 points to that one. And so you can vary your point value as you feel fit. All right, the last thing to cover in our session today is themes, and in order to customize it. Oh, let's check and see if we got any more results in. All right, we got some more. And so if you're a spreadsheet, if you like spreadsheets, man, it's an easy way to get the grade right here. All right, so as far as themes go, if you look on the top bar, there is an icon with a painter's palette. And if you click on that painter's palette, here are your options for your form. There's not many, but there are a few. You can choose a header image. And so by clicking on that button, Google has pre-made a whole bunch for you. You can also upload something that you have made, or it even says a photo. I've never done that one. But themes, they sort them out for you. And so you can pick a theme that you want and then click insert, and then it will populate it right here at the top. Yep, there's our image. And it even changed the colors for me to match that. But if I don't like that color, I can pick some of their pre-chosen colors. And this color selection is changing the bars. And if I don't like that, I can choose the plus, and I can actually drag this little bar to a color I like better. And then then they give me some customized background colors that match this top color. So you really can't adjust the background color, but you do have some choice on the theme color. And remember that we'll just do these little bars. Under font, you do have 4 choices. However, I would recommend staying with basic or even going to playful. I feel like the formal is a little bit harder to read just because of the thinness of the text. And then decorative is definitely really hard to read depending on the grade level of your students. So again, that's under themes. That is the painter's palette icon button. And you can adjust all those themes, you can customize your form a little bit. All right, I'm going to check our stream, see if we have any comments here. None so far. I must be doing a good job. Or maybe Mr. Nichols is handling for me. Thank you so much. I'm going to go back to, all right, so we looked at the Google form from last week. We added sections to each question. So one question would appear at only one time. And then we showed some customization with some themes. So just to review, to add a section, we click on the place where we want the section to go below. So I know that's a little bit confusing, but if I wanted this to be all by itself and I add a section by clicking the equal sign, then that's going to go below what I add. And in this case, I made a mistake. So then how do I fix that if I put the section in the wrong place? Well, there's these 3 vertical dots right to the right of the section. And if I click on those 3 vertical dots, I'm looking for the choice that says merge with above. You don't want to choose delete because it's going to delete everything in that section. It's not going to delete just that section. It'll delete everything, all the components within that section. But if you do happen to delete it, there's always Control Z, which is undo, and it will fix that. For example, oh no, I just deleted it. There's also an undo button here, but Control and then the letter Z will bring that right back. So this time I'm going to choose merge because I want the section above it, I want it to come together. So I'm going to do merge with above, and it brings these two back together. And remember, you have the ability to type within your section, and that is a good place to put your question number. You also have description with each one. You could, if you have different types of questions, you could give some to tell the students how to answer that question, or maybe even provide them a little hint, or maybe where that is in the passage, or etc. Use that as you see fit. But that is it. That is using sections to make one question appear at a time. Let's see if we have any other test takers. Nope, just 3 today. And then we did themes, and your customized themes are in the painter's palette. If you notice, you have a little puzzle piece right here, and you should have that puzzle piece. If not, talk to your campus ITS about that, and we can get you fixed up with that. But underneath that, there's something called Auto Mastery, which I'm happy to cover next week. I don't want to do it today. I'll be just taking up too much time. But this is something we can cover next week. If that's something you're interested in, please put that in the comments that you're interested in learning about Auto Mastery. Maybe not something for remote learning, but something that could be a good tool for you to use whenever we get back into the school building. So if you're interested in Auto Mastery, put your name in the comments that you're interested, and I will work on putting another session together next week. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to check one last time for any comments. And let me show. All right, nothing there. I hope it goes well. If you ever need any help with your Google form or any other assignment for the remote learning, please reach out to your campus ITS. We are more than happy to help. Hey, have a great afternoon. And if you're joining us for the 2 o'clock session, I will see you then.